3 years in the job. He says, we have to be patient. We have a long-term plan. It isn't a light switch. You can't run a club like Manchester United on knee-jerk reactions to some journalist who goes off on one every week. Is that a little bit inaccurate, given the lack of progress that so many people seem to have highlighted with Manchester?
Again, I blame a big part of it of their recruitment. Their recruitment is nowhere near good enough at that football club. Nowhere near good enough. And that is why they're struggling at the moment. But he got a good result last time out against Sunderland. Now the pressure's on because they go and play Liverpool, and everyone can say, oh, it's the perfect game because there's no pressure on them. There is pressure on them because Liverpool haven't been in good form, and it's still one of those games where you have to turn up and deliver.
The point on giving someone time, and you could argue that it's quite refreshing to see Sir Jim Ratcliffe come out and say, we want to give him time, because at the other end of the scale, we've been on this show in the last couple of weeks talking about Ange's under pressure after 7 games. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I guess the problem is, how many individual games have you watched of them where you thought, do you know what, I see where this is going? Because that's the thing, under someone like Klopp, who didn't win for more than 3 years a trophy, you still saw the progress.
100%, and it's a good question. You saw the progress and you saw where he was trying to take that football club. Listen, he's not a bad manager, because we know he's not a bad manager. Ruben Amorim is a good manager. He has to learn to adapt. And he is going to get scrutinised because he's at a club like Man United. If you didn't want to get scrutinised, don't come to the Premier League and don't come to a club like Man United. It's the best league in the world. And when you're at a big club like that, everyone's going to look at you. And some of his antics on the touchline have not been the best when you're a top manager and you're working for a club like Man United. But he has to deliver. He's been a bit unfortunate with certain games and stuff, and we all keep picking up, why don't he change his formation? Make no bones about it, he's not changing his formation. He's sticking to what he knows. But good managers know how to adapt. And at the moment, he hasn't adapted at Man United. I'm not saying don't start with that formation, Rob, but I'm saying sometimes when you end a game, you can change that formation if it's not going right to you. And you see the top managers doing that. And that's where he comes a bit short at the moment. But listen, I don't ever want to see a manager lose his job. I hope he becomes a success at Man United. But at the moment, it's a big call. He's got his chairman backing him. He'll be happy, so he has to deliver.
You touched on their next opponents, which is the champions Liverpool on Sunday. It was 2-2 at Anfield last season in this game. Who's it a bigger match for, Liverpool or Manchester United?
Oh, what a question. I think both. In particular, Liverpool as well, on the back of some really, I wouldn't say the performances haven't been the best, but it's more the results. Even at Chelsea, where you're thinking we ain't played brilliantly, but we've got that goal and then we concede right in the last minute. It's not been good enough from Liverpool at the moment. But I do think when everyone clicks, and Wirtz and Isak in particular, Liverpool will be a force to be reckoned with. I know everyone's saying Arsenal are the favourites, which, because Liverpool have had a few bad games, now Arsenal are the favourites. At the start of the season, when people were saying Mikel Arteta had the handbrake on, Liverpool were the favourites. So it just changes week in, week out. I still think Liverpool are a strong team, and I do believe it will be between them two. And I would throw Man City into the mix as well. But a huge game for Liverpool, massive game. They need to rebuild confidence back in that team and start winning again.
Yeah, it is one of the biggest games in world football. Who will come out on top? It is Liverpool against Manchester United.
The big question is, one of the big questions about Liverpool, there are several before this big game against Man United off the back of the international break, where Liverpool came in off the back of the Chelsea defeat away from home, played poorly, got outplayed, deserved what they got. Salah was poor. Stevie and I went over it a week or so ago. We went over the midfield, we went over the space that were allowed, we went over multiple things. But Florian Wirtz was on the bench. Yeah. What's the decision that Arne Slot is going to make to get this season rolling? And we're talking about getting this season going again. They're second in the league. I think the big picture is they haven't played well. And is he going to pick? Is he playing Stevie?
Yep.
Florian Wirtz? You don't know.
I don't think Wirtz will play.
You don't think he'll play?
I thought the question was going to be Ekitike or Isak.
Oh yeah, we're getting
there, but we're just focusing on Wirtz.
I don't think no.
But no. Don't you think coming in playing your biggest rival? Well, certainly not in terms of the league, but in terms of historically, your biggest rival. You're at home. What a great opportunity for him to get his Liverpool career up and running.
Well, that sounds lovely. It sounds great. That'd be a great story.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's been thinking. Arne Slot, I'm sure, along with the rest of us, have been thinking this was going to happen every week, and it's not happening.
Right.
But and so coming off 3 defeats, are you really going to go again? I don't think you will.
But at home, away from home, kind of see that picture away from home.
It's a possibility.
At home.
If Konaté's fit, right?
He's playing number 10.
It's a possibility that Wirtz might play. If Konaté's not fit, then he's going to have to move Gravenberch back and maybe play Endo. So you can't play Endo and you can't play Wirtz. So if Konaté's fit, it's a possibility Wirtz plays. But if Konaté's not fit, I don't see any way that you put Wirtz in the middle of the park. Just don't see it.
Frank, what about for you, not in the Florian Wirtz chat, but of course the other two names that Stevie had mentioned right there, in Alexander Isak and your boy Hugo Ekitike, what does Arne Slot do there?
Well, you know what? I want to believe Steve, because last time he made a bet where he said that that Isak won't play the first game, and he didn't. So I think he knows better than us. And if he said that Wirtz might not play, he has the contact, internal contact. So I want to trust him. But you know what? We want to see the best of all the best players, and it doesn't matter the price tag. It doesn't matter, you know, if you just sign or not. You know, Liverpool is concerned about every player, even the players who were there last season, and we're talking about Konaté, Van Dijk, and some others, Szoboszlai, McAllister. We don't recognize him. So yeah, we're focusing on some players, but the others haven't been good as well. So Liverpool is still second, and I mentioned that last time, that we say, well, yeah, they're not playing well, but it's still second. So it says a lot about the quality of the players and the fact that maybe they still have something, they still have a soul in the team. But yeah, I want to believe that it's possible that Arne Slot doesn't play Wirtz and give a chance to the more offensive team with Ekitike maybe on the left side with Isak and maybe Gakpo behind Isak and Salah on the right side. Everything is possible according to what we're going to see. Yeah, I agree with Craig. What's going on at the back as well, and where Gravenberch is going to play. But they're going to put a big pressure. I mean, that's a game we should show to the world that Liverpool is back to the race and to the best that as they have been last season.
I'd like to see if I was a Liverpool fan, if I was watching, having watched what I've watched at the start of the season, I'd like to see Ekitike start, and I'd like to see Alexander Isak being sort of filtered into this team to get his game time and his sharpness, which I don't think he's at yet. He's played for Sweden tonight in a game that you wouldn't want to watch, and we didn't. But Ekitike has been one of the players that has excited the Liverpool supporters. He's made a difference in games. His link-up play's been good. His running's been good. His goal scoring's been good. And I get it. Alexander Isak's your big signing. He's been the big story. You've chased him all summer. He basically, we could argue about it, but he went on strike, or he went back to train with Real Sociedad. He pushed the move through. So it's understandable when you spend that kind of money, you want to get somebody in the team, but not to the detriment of the team getting the points. And you can't argue that Ekitike at the start of the season,
is the man.
Since the Community Shield onwards, has, apart from his faux pas in the Carabao Cup where he took his shirt off for the second booking and he missed the Crystal Palace game, he's been excellent. So that's another big call.
But you know what it's like though, Craig? It's not always straightforward. It just doesn't always come down to form. Because if it's on form, then it's a no-brainer. Ekitike has to start.
So what?
I don't think he'll start him.
What's the barrier?
Well, I think the barrier is it's your big signing. You try to get him up to speed. There's always the pecking order, and I think right now that is going to override what Ekitike has, which is wrong, but I think that's going to override what he's done on the field. Because on form, Ekitike does deserve to start.
Yeah, but hey, guys.
Stevie, that's awful. What you say, I hear you. Sorry, Mario, but I hear you, Stevie. It's true, but we are talking about politics. We're not talking about football. I mean, those people, if they do that, if Arne Slot decides to put Isak because it's a big price tag, I mean, that's a shame for football. I mean, I'm with Craig. I mean, Ekitike has to play.
I don't think he will.
But, you know,
I don't disagree, by the way. Sorry, Mario. I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I know.
Yeah, I just don't think he will.
No, but
I know.
Mario?
Think about last season. Last season, when this happened at the international break, Slot was in, And he started the game when they came back after the national team break. They lost that game. And the second one, he changed the momentum and he played him. So I think, you understand, looking at him, because I remember the first time it happened to him, it was like me saying, like, it's a new league for him. He just has to adapt. He has to get used to it, stuff like that. The second game, he didn't make that mistake. He played his strongest team. So now, whatever happens now, you understand, coming into this game, okay, I agree, you know, Isaac, you know, they did everything to get this player to their team, so it's kind of weird if he wouldn't start. When it comes to Wirtz, he might make that decision because in the middle of the park is exactly where you can really overrun Man United. Because I think if it doesn't click well in the middle for Man United, that's where they can win the battle. So I think for Liverpool, they will pump that midfield full of energy. So either Wirtz is ready to attack that energy, and if not, they will play their stronger side and will really, try to hurt them as bad as they can.
If they've got no legs in midfield, we've talked about this.
Yeah.
Casemiro, Iguate, Bruno Fernandes is playing there. It's not his position. He doesn't understand the defensive aspects, the positional aspects of being a deeper line midfielder. And it also negates, which we've talked about at length, it negates his ability to influence the game, 30 yards further up the field. And you just think, just feel, particularly at home at Anfield against this United side who are weak in that area, that Florian Wirtz could really find the space to run the show. Now, whether that is the manager's thinking or not, I don't know, but I think there's a great opportunity here for Liverpool to go and put a marker down against all the sort of negativity of the last 3 games or so, where they've been sort of dragged from pillar to post. Playing Szoboszlai at right back, and it'd be interesting thinking if he does try to shoehorn Ekitike in and Isak, and he plays him on the left. This would be something that's crept into this manager's way of thinking, with trying to get some new signings in. I'll move Szoboszlai to right back and I'll move him because I want to play him. And thus far, that hasn't worked particularly well for him.